All right, I'm going to do a quick little video on some stuff that I've learned from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the cash flow quadrant, that type of stuff. It's actually been really inspiring in my personal finances, as well as investment strategies and just kind of how I've been living my life the last few years. They also just say the best way to learn and really nail down what you know is to teach it. So this is my attempt at giving everybody that I know just kind of a bare bones reminder, because I'm sure most of you have probably read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So essentially these two columns here would be the two pieces of your personal financial budget. So you have your income, which is most likely your job. Okay, sometimes people might be a commission or salary, or maybe I know an author on here and you get royalties every month, that type of thing. And then you have expenses. Okay, so this may seem a little bit boring, but trust me, hang on here just a minute or two. It's actually going to look pretty cool. So let's say, I think I saw here in town in Sioux Falls, I think they said something about like Walmart, you could start at like 15, 16 bucks an hour. So let's say you're making 16 bucks an hour, you work 40 hours a week, 4 weeks a month. After taxes, let's just say examples here that you're making $2,000 a month. That's netting what you're bringing home after taxes and such. Okay, just examples again. These numbers could be way off. Maybe yours is double or triple this, maybe half of it, whatever. So we'll just go with me here. Okay, your expenses. All right, so let's say you have rent here. Let's say $725. Let's say that you have some utilities. You pay, let's say maybe water or electric, something like that. Let's say another 75 bucks there. Entertainment, because everybody's got to have some thing to keep your mind occupied. All right, let's just say you're being pretty cheap, only 50 bucks a month. You got to eat. That's kind of a necessity. Sometimes I forget about that. So $300 is all pretty small numbers here, obviously. Just examples again. Usually we have to have some type of insurance. Let's just say that's only 50 bucks a month. We got to have a big catch-all here. So let's say other, let's throw 400 bucks in there. I'm trying to get this to kind of add up in a certain way. And then let's say you have a car payment, okay, like 200 bucks. Okay, so down here, these two columns, we have our assets and our liabilities. All right, and then, so an asset, the book's definition talks about something that's putting money in your pocket, that's making you money, your money working for you. And liability would be something that's costing you money every month, usually like some type of a debt or a loan type of thing. So let's say you have a car payment, so that'd be $200 in your liability column there usually. All right, let's say I did my math right here, and all of these add up to be 1,800 bucks. Okay, and then essentially 2,000 minus your 1,800 gives you an extra 200 bucks. You might be thinking that's really hard to scrape together, or maybe you're like, that's it, so you can't do too much with that. So just for this example, let's say we have 200 extra bucks, and instead of putting something more in the liability column, we're going to have a little bit of savings over here. Okay, so we have $200 savings here. So $2,000 minus 1,800 bucks equals $200. Let's say we're going to save that a month, and we do that consistently for 2 years. Okay, so at the end of that, you guys already got your calculators out. We got 4,800 bucks. Let's just say you got great credit, you get a good banking relationship here, and that almost $5,000 is, let's say, a down payment on a property that is $96,000. Okay, like let's say a little tiny duplex or something like that, or a single family house that you can rent out. Okay, so let's say we're going to say duplex. Okay, this is kind of a little bit around the numbers of one of my first properties here. Okay, so let's say you're putting that 5% down on a duplex. Well, that duplex is now an asset. Well, hopefully you're bringing in more rent to be able to pay the mortgage and just a little bit more. Okay, let's say that little bit more. It's called cash flow. We got cash flowing from your asset column back up here. Let's say that's plus 200 bucks. Okay, so now we have another $200 here. So now you're like, awesome, I got an extra 200 bucks a month. I'm gonna, have a better food budget, or a better more entertainment. And yes, definitely, eventually you will want to, and you can definitely do that. Obviously, tons of situations there. The point that I'm trying to illustrate here is how in just a few short years you can actually do some really, really cool stuff with this whole asset column here. So let's pretend that for some reason you're not paying off your car, and you're just making those payments, and we have the $200 saving up. Well, now we have the extra $200 in savings every month, plus now $200 cash flow, because we're not going to spend it in the expenses. We just pretend like we never got that cash flow, and we put it in the asset column. So now we're saving $400 a month. All right. Well, now it only takes us 1 year to get 4,800 bucks. Okay. And you can kind of see where we're going to go with this. Now you got 4,800 bucks. Let's just say we snag another duplex. Okay. Another 5% down, that type of thing. Now, percentage-wise and stuff, these numbers probably aren't going to actually work in cash flow, but just try to look at the overall picture of what I'm trying to illustrate here, because I do think if you get creative, this really can be possible. So let's say, we take, have almost another $5,000, we get another property, okay, another 200 bucks. All right, and that is in 3 years. All right, well, really, what's kind of cool is you got the extra 200, and then now we have 2 more 200s. Well, it doesn't take long, another year or two, and you could essentially have 50% of your expenses paid for by your cash flow. All right, and then that's a really cool one. The overall idea here is that if your expenses equaled 1,800 bucks, wouldn't it be cool if someday you could have your assets down here, because you've put so much into your asset column that you actually have $1,800 coming in here. Okay, so then you have 1,800 bucks that's actually covering your expenses. Now something happens, you're out of work, something happens to your job. Well, you actually get to keep paying all of your payments there. They call that getting out of the rat race. So I definitely do recommend reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. Just these overall concepts of trying to get your expenses a little bit below your income, letting that compound with time to pile up some savings, and then putting that into an investment property, which then creates some income, and then continuing to do that. I am not out of the rat race personally, but this is a strategy that I am trying to do of saving money, putting it into investments, and then trying to have that investment income continue to cycle through and kind of snowball in the opposite direction of a debt snowball, which it's all pretty cool. So that is all I got for today. Maybe there was some value. I might have to reshoot this if it didn't come out at all well. So we'll see. Thank you.